Hi, welcome to Gemstone Tarot, Friday the 14th of November 2025, and we're in one of those things at the moment in the UK where one of those days, you know, those things, where there's supposed to be like a kind of downpour tomorrow and thundery showers, and I am in that zone. Do you ever get in that zone where you feel like you literally feel the atmospheric pressure? And I've been like it all day. Full disclosure, I've just broken my what do they call it? I don't like the word rotting actually. My sofa time, shall we say, just watching streaming services. I've made myself a banana loaf. I always do that when I'm feeling a little bit like literally under the weather, you know, literally. So I've had some banana cake, that was gorgeous. I've had some decaf coffee, but I'm like, this, so yeah, I can feel it and you can see it. We've got that steely grey where there is nothing, there is no, like, not a waft of wind. So we're just waiting, really, just waiting, watching and waiting. And we're in mid-November. November has been like ping, gone like a flash. And Mercury is retrograde, I think, in Sagittarius. Then I think it moves into Scorpio, which I feel is very important. I was reading this on something the other day. When is it that it does this? I think, yeah, there. On the 19th of November, Mercury enters Scorpio. And then we have a new moon in Scorpio, and I feel like this is going to be, and goes into and the sun goes into Sagittarius on the 22nd. I feel as if you think about Scorpio season and all that we've been doing, which has been quite weird, hasn't it? It's not been for me actively digging stuff up, but nevertheless it's happening anyway. The silt is coming up from the bottom of the river, and it just feels as if that thing, like when you disturb river water and you do get all that dispersal of God knows what, and that we're sort of swimming around in that, but without directly knowing what we're dealing with. And let me know in the comments if that resonates, although in that spooky way where we're all kind of part of the same thing. I can feel already as I'm recording the video that that is resonating, because time is an illusion, people, especially when Mercury is retrograde. So I feel like when it moves into Scorpio, we've got a new moon in Scorpio, we may be able to gather some of this and see what shape it is. Whether we like it or not is another matter. But sometimes just to identify the shape of something is enough, you know. In fact, and I must find this at some point. I used to have that CD with Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle on, if that's how you say his name. And they were in conversation. I used to play it in my car like 10 years ago or something. It was really good. And there was this little bit where Eckhart Tolle, in that way, when, you know how he speaks, I can't do an impression of him because it would be wrong and probably derogatory, and I don't want to be derogatory. He said something about how little our contribution adds to a situation, how little our comprehension or understanding of a situation adds to, and again, air quotes, the truth of it. And I think he's kind of saying it pollutes the truth of it, and that something can be just a thing in itself and better without our judgment. So this is not to say that we're going to judge the things that have been coming up for us, but we may be able to identify the shape, as you would a leaf in the forest. Lots of channeling going on today. See, I should spend more time flaked out on the sofa, perfecting my butt dent. Oh, of course, oh my God, I mean, what other card are we going to pull? And I'm going to get the smelly book out, hang on, because it's a smelly book situation. The Five of Cups. There it is, people. The castle on the hill, the ruin tumbling into the sea. It does feel like that. I'm wondering, have I got any reading glasses here? It's the first thing I'm wondering. I can't be asked to go over there and find them, because honestly, that's where we're at. Haven't got reading glasses, but have got skeleton dealy boppers. That's my life. Okay, we'll usually have a pair kicking around on the floor, but they're only ever kicking around on the floor when you don't need them. So we're going to go for the old person's read, where I go like that, a bit like the old person's swim, like that. So at the end of the smelly book, and this is the smelly book, so many people always ask me about this. I don't know if it's still in print. I think it might be, and you can certainly get a copy like eBay and all those good places. Right. 5 of Cups. I knew it. You should always trust yourself, shouldn't you? Says the one who never does. It's Mars in Scorpio. And Mars is one of Scorpio's rulers? I know Pluto is. I think Mars is the second ruler. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so think about the intensity of Mars, and then think about Scorpio, the emotional detective. This is like, and it's not, I was going to do like a magnifying glass on something, and I think we may end up doing something interesting today, and I'll see before I say it, but I don't see this as an Expecto Clouseau, Agatha Christie moment, you know, where we are like, ha 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 ha, with a monocle or a thing like that. It's not an inspection. It is the knowing of the shape of something, but it is not the categorising. And the other thing, I wish I had my phone up here because I had lots of things and screenshots, and I've left it downstairs. I was doing, what was I doing? I was reading something about literature. And what was it? It was really interesting. T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland. I know. Doing a little poetry class, and I was studying T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland online. And we were looking at influences, and one of them was somebody who I can't remember the name of, beginning with M. And they were talking about, and I've always felt this, and I felt so vindicated to see it, that when you find, particularly if you're a poet, when you find a word for something, the naming of something, it takes away from what the poet might do, which is to guide you through a series of metaphors or revelations, so that you are peeling back, but also it's a Socratic experience, because each individual person coming to the poem will have their own little set of revelations that they're peeling back. So there is a particular and a universal. But if you call it something, the cupboard, happiness, sadness, whatever you want to call it, it shuts all that down and makes it just a word, a thing. So, who knew that this reading was going to be so weird today? But you know, this is what I'm talking about. Is this kind of deep thunking that's going on. So, what's happening today that is unusual is that we're only pulling one card, because we only need one card. And that's the other thing, and that's what went on my university application form, I know, because my grades weren't as high as they should have been for where I was applying, because it was quite elite. So back then you had to do a personal statement, and I don't think they have to in the same way now. But and I remember mine was, it was around, and I think I've told you this before, but hey, it was around, I could have just had one book on my shelf. And that book, I'm trying to remember which one it was Seneca. It might have been Letters to a Stoic, I think. I'm looking up at my shelf, don't even know where it is now. But all the rest of the books, and it doesn't mean that everyone has to have Seneca, Letters to a Stoic. Just that one book can tell you everything. And sometimes the entirety of the 78 cards of the Major and Minor Arcana, and we have said this before, can be in each and every card. Each card is an entire journey in itself, which is why I don't always like it if people are learning the tarot, to sort of think, well, I know what the Two of Swords is and I know what the Four of Swords, you know, it doesn't always work like that. So, and I'm trying to think of that poet. Is it Blake talking about like the universe in a raindrop or something like that? It's that kind of malarkey. So, this is the one card. And this card encapsulates everything. So think of yourself as a beachcomber and allow the flotsam and the jetsam to come up. And at some point it's going to form some kind of a shape. What will that tell us? Don't even ask that question. It's just identifying the shape. I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.